So now in cyber cafe, anyone can go and enjoy internet. If the persons is maybe harmful persons or hacker, he can enjoy. If the person is educated, well maintained, he also can enjoy. That means what is the visible here? That means no security. First of all, war group model, what is the disadvantage? The disadvantage is no security. First question, first concern. Second, anyone can misuse your asset. Anyone can misuse your asset. What do you mean? Means that someone from outside can use your assets. Okay, now consider the scenario. If you are working in a certain company and I am your friends. I come to your company and waiting in a lung or couch. Now will you allow me to go inside your office, or can allow me to use your computer or anyone's computer? Will I able to do? Will I able to use any of the computer in your company? Tell me yes or no. If you say
with
yes,
one group or domain?
I am telling that I am your friend. You are working in a company and I go to your office and ask you, boss, give me your computer system access and I want to use. Will you able to do that?
No.
No. Why?
I mean, there are two reasons. First of all, if it's my professional computer, I will allow anyone to use my computer. And other thing is that there are some security features as well that can be synthesized by my domain controller or my admin, who can also use, so can change the password or can control my computer as well. And moreover, it's more less secure if I hand over my computer to other people.
So basic thing is that, guys, you know hi-fi things I know, but the basic thing, whenever I'm asking question, you should tell the basic things, so that if you say the basic correct answer, any critical things will be more easier for you. First question, if I go to your office, will you able to give your laptop or desktop for my usage only? Will you able to do it? Answer is no. Why? If you give me your laptop and tell them to use, which user account I have to log in? First my question. Which user account I will log in? You cannot give me your user ID password, because if I do anything wrong, the entire blame will come to your head. Then my question, how will I do it? How will I log in these systems? Then there is a security comes. Security for what? Security for to give them access only known people. To give them all access only known people, those is the employee of the company, those is the part of the projects, those is the part of the security, they only have the access, rest of not. Clear or not? Clear or not? Everyone I'm asking, is this clear or not? Okay, then what is the definition of domain? Basically, domain is the logical boundary of your IT asset and also provide this high-end security so that no one can misuse your IT assets. So now you understand what is domain. Now my question, if we are supposed to be implemented on physical, then how the domain concept will come? If the domain will be created, from where it will be hosted? From where it will be hosted? I have to someone hosted that domain, right? Because without container, I will not supposed to be hosted this domain. Am I right? Am I right or wrong? Where my question, in physically, if I supposed to create this domain, then you guys told, yes sir, I understood what do you mean by the domain. Now my question, how will I implement it, and where the domain will be resides? Is any specific computer, or any specific devices, or any specific vault? Then I say it should be located in a specific computer. Then what will be the specification of that particular computer, and what should I told that particular computer? The answer is the specific machine where the domain is holding, it's called the domain controller. Clear or not? Clear or not?
Yes.
Okay. So I am asking everyone, please, I mean, don't be silent until and unless you told me I'm not supposed to be understood that you guys clear or not. Okay. If you have any question, A, B, C, D, anything, you can ask me. Okay. Perfect. So my question, domain, it's a logical concept of your assets. Beyond this domain or out of the domain, your asset will not work. No one can misutilize, and it is secured by highly high-end security. So my concept is, if I supposed to be implement domain in my office, how will I create? And domain is basically nothing a roles. It's a features, or it's a role which is Microsoft provided. Now my question, who can tell the answer? Where should I install the roles and create the domain? Who can answer?
In any server.
Yes,
Well, it
definitely. Definitely, we can install this role to any server. Now I'm telling you, this is one of the server. We have installed operating system 2012. I've specified the hard disk, processor, something else. Now it is called server. Once it is when I install the ADDS role, Microsoft role, it's become a domain controller. You got my point? And domain was created. Domain was created. So then this machine name transformed from server to a domain controller. So domain controller, it's also a server, but it's specific, or it's different due to a certain role is installed, and that is why they can hold the domain controller. Clear to everyone? It's clear to everyone?
Yes.
Okay. So now it is clear. Now I understood that domain, a physical concept, it is where the asset can be held. Now domain can be allocated or can be installed on a specific machine. It's called the domain controller. Now what specific database it's holding that domain controller? Because domain logically cannot be hosted any server. So definitely the domain will be having some database. It's called ntds.dit. New technology, ntds, new technology directory structure dot directory infrastructure tree. So the database is called ntds.dit, and this is my domain database. Clear or not? Clear or not?
Yes, I have a question actually.
Yes, please.
So what I have understood, that difference between the work group and domain is that in work group there is no NTDS DT, is not all individual like this group of some computer or laptop or server.
Okay. For your information, let me draw the picture. It will be clear for you. Work group are basically a cyber cafe model. That means all the machines are connected through a background networks, or you can centralize topology just like that. So switch will be inside, anyone can access that machine, anyone, without any user ID something else. Whatever their user ID, through this they will, even some machine they do not have user ID. Okay, so you can access that mode. But in domain concept, it's look like this. This is your domain controller and it is hosting the domain. Inside the domain, all the machines will be there. All the machines will be there. Now anyone from outside want to access these machines. Anyone from outside want to access these machines. Whenever trying to access, this machine will ask question, hey, who are you? Please enter user ID and password. Will you able to enter your user ID password if you are outsider? Will you able to enter your user ID and password if you are outsider?
No.
No. So that is a pure security. That kind of things will not be entertained in work group model. Is it clear or not? Now, user ID password, how to create? Those are the employee of the company. Employee will create them a user inside the domain. Now they will give the permissions that which computer or which server or which domain controller or which devices you have access. Based on the role and permission defined, the user can able to access that computer. Clear? This is how domain concept was created. Now everything is secure by this domain controller because this he is performing his duty. That is why we are secure. That means our domain controller is secure. Now what about if this domain controller is crashed? Then what happened? Our domain will be not reachable. No one can work in our office, right? Domain crashed. Why? Because domain controller it's not working. So in order to provide the redundancy, we can create here an additional domain controller. Is that clear or not? Is that clear or not?
So the first one is we have to create a domain or is already installed.
So first one is the Windows machines where we have installed the roles and configured that roles. Once we configure, then domain was created, right? Now inside the domain, if you want to add your machine into the domain, then machine is the part of this under this domain. Now onwards, no one can access your machine if he is not a part of domain user, right? Now due to this, we are secure enough because this particular domain controller is working. Now what happen if this domain machine is crashed? Now enter network will be not reachable to anyone. No one can work. So that we will add it here as an additional domain controller and give them in the synchronized level. So that if primary one is down, second one can work. Even sometime cases we have added so many domain controller as an additional domain controller. Is that clear or no? Sorry?
Like we created a team.
Exactly. Team means what? Load balancing. So load balancing should have what is the purpose of the server engineer? Why company should pay you? Company should pay you just because of your skills. And skills for what? Just for load balancing. Every case is load balancing. That means if your server or domain, if you are working in domain controller level, then you have to look for redundancy. If you want to work for file server level, you have to look for redundancy. Any cases, whenever you found any risk, you have to mitigate by load balancing in terms of character, but every case is not possible, just keep it in mind. But you have to raise the concern. So here the concern is, the risk is, in IT industry there is a many things happen, right? Not only all time you have to do the technical, sometimes you have to highlight the risk, you have to highlight that modification, infrastructure development, many things is the concern. So this is also your part of KRA. Whenever you find out any risk, you have to highlight that part. Now you are saying, okay, my domain is perfectly working, user also working, going, all everything is working. But in case that domain controller is a machine, its machine is crashed, then what will happen? Enter domain will be not reachable. So what we do? We will create additional domain controller here. And also on top of that, why additional domain controller is required here? Another reason it's required, because whenever you are in company, we are logging, log off, logging, log off. You are doing every time your domain controller receiving the request. Every time your domain controller receiving the request. And that's the reason its continuous CPU is keep on burning. And as a result, whenever it is always trying to fix that burning, then you definitely, whenever users are getting increased, you will facing logon issue, slow logon issue. To mitigate that part, you have introduce another partner here, so that overall load of the authentication will be equally distributed between that two domain controller. If after import, after install and configure that to domain controller, still if you are facing the same problem, you can add another additional domain controller. Right? Now here your centralized office is there. Now what about whenever you have another branch in Dubai? Then how will you do that? Another branch in UAE, another branch in France, another branch is Japan. Then how will you do that? Their place, that is a totally geographical distributed location. How will you do that? Every cases you have to implement domain controller, and that domain controller is connected to your primary and secondary domain controller, and you have to create the entire maps. So that is I'm asking you, clear your doubt from the base level, because next to next is very advanced level, we will do the practical. So the domain controller functionality clear to everyone or not? After that I will show you the practicals. Domain controller, additional domain controller, domain function, is clear or not?
Clear.
Perfect. Everyone agree?
Yes, clear.
Oh, okay, perfect. Now let's move to the workstation. Okay, so first I'm going to select new machines. Same location, the machine will be picked west. One more things, while you are creating the machine now, one account was creating, right? You cannot ignore this type. If I deleting this, you will not be supposed to do that. So now domain concept on was, keep in mind, you have to ignore this alarm. Let him create it, no problem. Later on you can delete this account. I am telling you from where you can do this, because this is a least privileged group. You cannot even perform any high transaction work. Okay,
Can you repeat please?
I am telling you, while you creating this machine, one of the by default account, it's called the normal account or user account was created. That account, they do not have any administrative rights. Better to delete this. You got my point? Especially I'm telling you about the domain controller while you are building.
Okay, good. But that would be the local administrator account, right?
No, not local administrator. It's a local account. You got my point? Local user account.
All right. Okay. Got it.
Yeah. Because you don't know the machine has by default log into that particular local account, and you are running certain script or something, critical things. You will not be supposed to entertain. You will not be able to. Your testing will be failed. As again I'm telling you, do not use for code installation. It's a GUI, less GUI. I mean, there is no GUI, and through command you have to manage. Better to use on server GUI, either in standard or data center, as you wish. So for testing purpose, what I am showing you right now, what is my practical. One of the machine, after install, I will make them domain controller. So green will be a domain controller. Again I will create another machines. I will create additional domain controller. I will have a 2 workstation machines that I will add into the domain. Okay. It should be like this, and I will add them into the domain, right? I will create user here. That's it. That is my practicals. Clear? Okay, and this is a domain function, and same wise I have created another machines. They are not the part of this domain. Now what is the difference between it, I will show you. Clear?
Sorry, I didn't get it. Can you repeat that?
Sure. My first practical, I will install the first machine and promote them as into a domain controller, right? Then after that, what I create? Domain I have created, and now inside the domain I will add it my computer, right? Added computer into the domain. I have created user into the domain. That means employee of the company, right? Now user will become very high. Now to avoid any discrepancy, I will create another domain controller for load balancer. As you can create ample amount of domain controller, but this domain controller, this time it will be there is a trick, because this is a primary domain controller and this is the additional domain controller. Now I will add them into the additional domain controller here. I will create an additional domain controller into that particular forest, or it's a domain. Now another wise, sidewise, I have created another machine, but this machine not the part of domain. Now I'll show you what is the difference between it. Clear? What is the difference between it? Okay, fine, my DC1 is prepared. Then I will create another machines. This is VMware tool are installing. VMware tool is basically the feature which enabled you the graphics, sounds, all this system related hardware. In normal physical machines, after you install, earlier days you have to install the motherboard drivers. In VM computer, VMware tool is same things, but for it is applicable for VM computers. Okay. So after install, it will be installed all those stuff, so that GUI, networks, everything seems to be normal. It's just for a system hardware upgrade via VMware tool. Perfect. Now I will do that power off machines and I will clone that machines. And this is my workstation or laptop, simple laptop. Just remind that laptop. So it's cloning. Meanwhile, okay, let him cloning and then I will show.
I have a question.
Yes, please.
So, the VM tool that you used, so that is only required for a domain controller, right? Not for if we are trying to make a router or anything like that.
Okay, so right now all the machine we have installed Windows 10, so motherboard driver was not needed. Do you remember last 10 years back, whenever you purchase a machines and you have installed a Windows XP, after install, will you able to install the driver CD or not? After that, will you install driver CD or not? If you are not installed the driver CD, your network will not work, your Wi-Fi will not work, your sound will not work. Why? Because driver setting is a system software which can accommodate your operating system and hardware capability. Clear? Now this is applicable for physical hardware like laptop, desktop, server, physical server. Then you need to install the motherboard drivers. But what about the virtual machine? In virtual machine, VMware tool is a compatible tool which enable all the virtual NIC card, virtual graphics, virtual sound, everything. So if you not install the VMware tool, the server will not be work from, it will be having some disturbance. Clear? So not only domain controller, every machine you have to install the VMware tool. But here I am cloning this machine from DC01, so VMware tool already installed there. So my new machine will not require to install the VMware tool because it's already installed and I'm cloning from the parent machines. Clear? Okay, my machine it's created. So yeah, now let's do another machine which I'm showing you, which is the out of domain. Then I will show you that problem that we will be able to understand. Okay. Domain underscore unjoined machine. Laptop was domain joined and this is domain unjoined machines. So let them install. After that we'll start working. So meanwhile, as I'm telling you, everyone, the primary things you have to set up the networks. That means all bring them in the same networks. All bring them in the same networks, which is mandatory. Okay, let them install. Now what happened, as I cloning the laptop from DC1, so I have to make them sysprem enable, or else it will create a hell lot of problem. So that it will be clear the SID history. Fine. So let them, meanwhile I am just powering on my DC machine and configure them ADDS role and create the domain. Okay. So I'll renaming it laptop.
So that could you please also explain a little bit about the forest so that we will have the complete overview?
Everything I'm telling you. Everything I'm telling you. Don't worry. Everything I'm telling you. Okay. So he's come to me about the forest. Yes, definitely is a vital point. Whenever you are first creating the domain, let's say the domain name is volvo.com, that means Volvo company domain. So the first domain, it become a forest. First domain, it become a forest. Right or wrong? I mean, you understand or not? Whenever you have created domain, that become a forest. Later on I'll telling you the Active Directory objects. Then it's clearly understand you what is forest, what is domain, what is OU group, all those stuff. Just understood? Whenever we created the first domain, A, B, C, D, whatever it is, it will be the forest as well. First domain will be a forest. Perfect. As I told that whenever you are working, first time you are login, now see the account you have logged is S. That means it's a less privileged work group. I mean less privileged user. What you need to do, just type it com mgmt. That means computer management. After that you have to go local user and groups, and you will see that there is an administrator, and that is a normal users. So first what you need to do, what is your concern? You have to make them password in administrator. If you are not giving them password, you will not be able to access the administrator. But in domain administrator, while you providing the install the domain, configure the domain controller, you definitely first requirement is you have to set the local administrator password, because after domain promotion done, this local administrator will be promoted to the domain administrator. Clear? So I am securing through password. If you not give them password, your domain controller will be fail. I will show you. Then whenever I will show you the additional domain controller promotion, I will not give them password. Then I will show you the prerequisites fail, alert will come. Password has been set. Right? Perfect. Now what I need to do? Sorry, I was wrongly close. Again, you have to do computer com mgmt.msc. Basically, I'm telling you this is applicable only for the domain controller, because wrongly if it's login with this account, you will not be supposed to run any kind of privileged command or any kind of steps. So what you need to do, you have to delete them. Okay, you have to delete them. That account was created. Then going to log off and then log in with administrator. That's the password you have reset. After you did this, then what is the next options? IP address, which is mandated. Next is go ncp.cpl. Give them, it's saying VM tools modified user interface setting, you must have to log off, apply the changes. Later on you can do it. Properties, TCP/IP4, Internet Protocol version, go to the properties and check them static IP address 10 10 10 10. Clear? Okay. First prerequisite is local domain local administrator account have to set password. Second prerequisite is IP address. Third prerequisite is you have to change the computer name. Go to the properties, computer name. By default this is a Windows name, and if you use this name it will be create every time you have to type, and all those stuff is very critical. Make them your compatible name. Let's say DC01. Every company have their own naming convention. They will create the domain controller name based on that. Click on OK. After that it will take a restart. As he is not giving to account the S, it is showing as an error. Don't worry, just put their command administrator. Next is what? Your first prerequisite you have done, you have set the local administrator password, then you have set the IP address, you have changed the computer name. Then you have to go and install the role. What role? ADDS role. Active Directory Domain Services role. Click on next, 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 and this role. This role is responsible for to create the domain. So ADDS role I will install here. As here is a mini role, I will show you, no problem later on. Everything is included in our courses, so don't worry about it. Right now we need only Active Directory Domain Services. Click on next, 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 and install. Okay, so after you install this domain controller, don't think that your domain, ADDS role, don't think that this server become a domain controller. No, you have to configure it. Whenever you purchase the material from outside of the market, now it will fulfill your all food is dim. No, you have to cook them, right? Then only you will get this food values and all the nutrition. So you have to configure them, right? How will you configure them? Close that options, Just go downstairs, you will see one notification was coming in flag. Click on it. What notification? It's telling configuration recon installation succeed. Now configuration required for Active Directory domain services. So click on it. Now this time here what you are going to create, the company domain. You are going to create company domain. Let's say you are responsible to create the domain. Let's the company name is HP. So you have to put this hp.com. This is company domain name. Okay, click on next. And this is actually, you have to remember, not, it is not so much important as of now, but this is required whenever we will restore this server from the backup. It's called DSRM, Directory Service Restore Mode password. So everyone, what they do, they will give them what ABCD, whatever it is, but whenever it's required, they will forget. But there is also options how you can change the DSRM password. I will tell you later on. But as of now, I am putting the password here. It's very simple. I mean, it's nothing any critical. Whenever you guys any doubts, ask me question. If you keep silence, I will not be able to understand what is your problem. So functional level, it's a functional part of the domain. Domain functional, forest functional. As I told, whenever your first domain, that means hp.com I am created. So this is my domain as well as forest. Right? Click on next. Next. It is a NetBIOS name. That means in the network, the domain name, anyone can use the nickname. Simple HP. Everyone known this domain as a HP. You can change it anything. You can make it HP, CEL, HP Limited, LTD, whatever. It's called NetBIOS name.
Can you please tell us what is the difference between domain name and NetBIOS?
NetBIOS name is basically the nickname of the domain. That means the domain name, it's a bigger, let's say mercedesbranch.com, right? mercedesbranch.com. Now every time you have to put Mercedes, instead of using Mercedes, you can down it mark.com. So you can change the mark as a nickname. If you put mark, domain will understand, yeah, you are looking for mercedes.com. Just like a nickname. That's it called the NetBIOS.
Completely independent from domain. We can choose whatever you want.
Exactly. That is why we are mapping now. Whenever putting here, whenever put HP, instead of you will put it whatever it is, it will be mapping. Okay. Now it is configuring, right? Now it is configuring the domain, creating domains, creating forest, everything is doing. First they have checked the prerequisites. They found the prerequisites all good. All prerequisites check passed successfully. Everything is okay. Then directly I'm going to, then he allow me for go for installation, or else they will create a red marking. This is a warning. You can ignore it. No problem. Create install. Now it is configuring the domain. Okay, after that it will require restart. Now anything you do, it will be restored. After that, it will configure you and allow you to log in through whom? The administrator you have given the password or set that password. Through this administrator, now you are able to log in the domain or domain controller. I think it's clear to everyone. If you have any doubt, you can ask question, because very vital things I'm telling you. Now next onwards, every practical it's need Active Directory domain controller. Any practical in Windows, we need a domain controller. That is why I'm showing you at the beginning of the course, so that next all practical you can successfully do it based on this domain controller concept. It is taking time to upgrade the schema, upgrade the database. Everything is updating from the background. So that is why it's taking time. Every company have their domain. If you say Cognizant, there is a cognizant.com. If you say Accenture, there is a accenture.com. If you say HP, Wipro, everywhere they have a company domain. So Active Directory people, those who have a good knowledge on Active Directory, they guys are welcome to any organization. Let's say in IT, non-IT, productions, everywhere. Even car company like Mercedes-Benz, Nissan, BMW, Audi, everywhere they need a domain administrator.
Without domain, no company can work, even it's manufacturing or if
everywhere,
any company.
Everywhere.
No.
Everywhere domain administration is required. So first time I will log in with, because I do not have any other users to create. The first time, how will I log in? That administrator password I set, I use that one. Because next onwards, I will not supposed to use this account. Why? Because after I log in, I will create users, I will give them proper rights, everything. From next onwards, this person will be my domain administrator. This account, it's totally highly secure account. It's, every organization have tech actions if you using this account. Do not using your built-in administrator account. It is highly sensitive. If this account is hacked, your entire infrastructure will be finished. So the first time you will log in with administrator, same password you have given, administrator, sorry, I was wrong. What happened? Administrator. Okay, perfect. Now my question, where I get my domain? Where I get my domain? That you told you have configured ADDS domain. So where is my domain? The domain is configured. If you go to this options, administrative tool, you will see that these other things are coming. Active Directory Administrative Center, Active Directory Domain and Trust, Active Directory Module and Windows PowerShells, Active Directory Site and Services, Active Directory User and Computer. So this will give you the console to admin and manage your company domain. Rest of that are different module, I'll tell you. So now, let's say if you do not know the driving, or if you do not know where the steering is inside the car, you will not be able to drive this, right? So this is your steering to manage your domain. Active Directory Users and Computer. You can open it from here, or else you can go and type the command tsa.msc. Both the cases result is same, that will open. As I have created my domain and forest, that is hp.com. Now in hp.com users is blank, nothing else. And who is holding that hp.com? My domain controller DC01. Clear? Now my intention, I have to add this laptop to my this domain, just like this. Just like this. I will add this domain to my hp.com so that no one can use it apart from my domain users. Now after you create the domain controller, what is your secondary options? You have to create users. How many users? Your company employee. Those persons, I mean, for it is not for all employee like sweeper, housekeeper, not like that, administrator. But those are computer related work, they definitely have that users. So you have created a users which is for your company users or company employee. How will you do that? Whereas you can create user anywhere, but by default we are creating user on user view. New users. And this users, this is the first name is, let's say I'm creating one first user, Miraj. Here, once you're creating user, there is a options. The option is what? Generally, if you check this option, so whatever the password you are giving, after enter the user, then next time you will be prompted to change their password. If you uncheck this, then whatever the password you will giving here, that will be the permanent. Next is user cannot change password. If you select these options, then user not be able to change the password. Never. Or this one is password never expire. That means there is a security concern. So guys, everyone know whenever we will put down resignation in our any of the company, so after we leaving that day, the day onwards all access, everything access will be blocked. How? Just because of they will disable the user from AD, company AD. Now my question, if you, let's say they forget that user to be deleted that during the last working day, then what happened? Fine, after 3 months the user will be deactivated. Why? Because every account, they have a 3 months of life cycles. After 3 months, if you not reset your password, your account will be deactivated. So if you check these options, that means the password, if you forget to deactivate it, lifetime it can be active, and hacker or that particular user can access their sites from outside of the networks. So it is only mandatory whenever you are creating any service account or something else. It is not mandatory for human account. Clear? So I am creating password. Fine. I am creating another users. One users, let's say Gopal. Gopal C. Same things. Fine. Now in your company, those who are manage the domain, they are called domain admin. Those who are not manage the domain, maybe they are managing the server, they call Windows team. How will you segregate? Now Gopal also users, Miraj also users. Now if you create Miraj, add them in the member of options, domain admin rights, then Miraj will be a domain administrator of this particular organization or forest. He have enormous access what the domain have do. Any computer he can log in, anything he can do, anything he can do. But Gopal can't, because Gopal is a general user. His member of domain admin is not added. He might not be able to log in any computer as well. He's just a domain user. He do not have any power. How we can, if you give you, then question is, if anyone tell you create one user and give them domain admin rights, then what you need, as you know how to create users, and then you give them, go to the member of and add search domain admin and add them into the domain. It's the second time it's not working. So now he has become a domain administrator, right? So come to the picture. I have created domain controller. The domain was created, which is my hp.com. Let's say remove this one. hp.com. Now hp.com inside I have created two users, Miraj and Gopal. Now I am gonna create one of the, I will added one laptop inside that domain. So by default computer we use blank because I have not added any computer into the domain. Now I will add this laptop into the domain, right? Perfect. Then what I need to do, I will simply do the laptop and give them proper information of this particular domain controller, and then give them, join into the domain. So for that only, basic is communication. Go to the settings and check them that proper network they have assigned or not. Yes, both are in VNet 0. Perfect. Then log into the laptop.
I have a question. It might be relevant to this VMware workstation, but how can we assign the virtual network in VMware vSphere?
Sorry?
How can we check the virtual network in the VMware vSphere EXI? I tried to find it, but I didn't get it exactly.
So I am actually talking about the domain controller. So you are totally come on different topic. So after the class is okay, then will you ask, please?
Yeah, okay, right, sorry.
Or else it will create an unnecessary problem to other one, because they are on.
Yeah, okay.
They are listening. Yeah, please. Whatever the necessary, ask question. Whatever beyond these things, ask after the question. Okay, fine. So now what I need to do? Okay. So this machine still not yet joined to the domain. It is locally, anyone if know the administrator password, he can log in. Okay. Because there is no security as of now. Now I need to add them into the domain hp.com. So if I going to add them into hp.com, what the information is required? First information is required, DNS IP address. What is DNS IP address? Domain controller IP address is called DNS IP address. Domain controller IP is required as a DNS IP. So first options, I have to collect my DNS IP address. Second, what? Second is same network subnet. And third one is communication, that we already achieved it. Fourth one is firewall. Either you enable firewall through file and printer services or disable firewall, whatever you want. Here testing purpose disable is okay, but in production you no need to disable, then you have to enable the file printer every cases. These four information, it's mandatory to join the machine into the domain. DNS IP, same network subnet, communication, disable firewall. Disable firewall. Okay guys, so what is my domain controller IP subnet? Just go to the domain machines, domain controller machine, and type the command ipconfig. So domain controller IP address is 10.10.10. This is my DNS IP address. If I not assign this IP address as a DNS IP in my machine, I will not be supposed to join into the domain. Let's do that. So if I go to the laptop and my laptop machines, I will go to ncpa.cpl, that my NIC card. After that I go to the properties, and properties I will put this to my 10.10.10. I cannot put the IP address, same IP address as a DNS, that my domain controller. It will be create a network conflict. So it should be a 11 or 12 as your choice. Up to 15 to 54, whatever you use. If I am not supposed to assign the DNS IP here for my domain controller, let's see what happened. Click on OK. Then I am going to properties, advanced systems, computer name, and here if I supposed to be add into the domain, what my domain name? hp.com. You will tell that Active Directory domain controller ADDS for this domain hp.com could not be contacted. Why? Because you have not given the DNS IP address. So here I am telling you simple method so that it will be clear to understand. So let's guys, you are in India. Now you get a job opportunity at Germany, and you have a your company says that here you are selected, come here and join our company. They have called you verbally, no mail, no documentation, nothing. If you go to the Germany office, Germany consultant office in your country, will they give you the visa or work permit to stay there or to settle there? No one. Why? They need company offer letter, company document, so that they will contact the company, they will verify that yes, you are the right person, and they will provide the justification, then only your visa will be approved. So the same things, this particular computer is trying to request my domain access. How could I know that this particular machine is my domain machines or in my personal asset? It might be some hacker can create this scenario and try to access my all domain information. It might possible. That is why you have to know the DNS IP address, and you have to give them proper network connectivity, then only it's possible. And go to the properties. So same DNS IP address, that means domain controller IP address should be act as a DNS IP address. How many of your domain controller? You have to give them accordingly. Primary, secondary, if you have to add 5 domain controllers, you can go to DNS, add randomly. Clear? So DNS, I have done it. Now see guys, again I am going to that particular row. Now you have to make the computer name laptop, and I want to join. See, as of now your computer container, it's blank. Computer container is blank. Once I join that computer into the domain, this will come here. Then that means the laptop will be in that particular forest or domain. So if I put the laptop here and type hp.com, click OK, then the request come to that particular domain. Then they will ask you the user ID, type your user ID a password. Now your visa office call to your company and check that do you know that person, they are asking for the visa or work permit to work Germany. Then yes, I know him. Submit your manager and give them delegation. So here Miraj will give their user ID and password. Based on the Miraj authentication, your visa has been approved. Welcome to hp.com. And once you click on OK, your machine will be reboot. Once your machine will be reboot, you will see that the machine was created on computer OU. Clear? Is that clear? It's clear to everyone?
Yes.
Okay. Now the scenario is domain controller with 2 users and one of the laptop is a part of domain controller. Now I'm showing you what is the difference between domain join secure machine or undomain join non-secure machines. Let them bringing up. Okay. Now, okay. So guys, laptop administrator is showing, okay, and another user is showing. Every cases you need one at least user ID. How will you know which users is a part of the domain? If you do not know the user ID password, you are not even login. That is the security. If you do not know the user ID password, you are not supposed to be login. Clear? That is the security. I know the username is Miraj, he is working here. Then only I am able to log in. This is the domain satisfactions, domain kind of security. Clear or not? It's clear or not? Now what about these machines? This is a domain unjoined machines. See, I click, that machine was already on state. Anyone can use anything they can do. You got my point? If I go to restart, let's see what happened. Now see, directly enter into the machines. Anyone, any person A, B, C, D can use these machines, and that is a work group and domain unjoined machines. Now what I do? I will add this machine to the domain. What I need to do? Same thing, same feature. So for that only, what I need to do? I have to go run. Again, what I need to do? I will go to the properties, IP addresses. So same sequence, 10.10.10. Last one is 11, so it might be 12 or 13, whatever it is. And you must have to give them domain DNS IP address. That means your domain controller IP address. Click on OK. Then go to the properties. Advanced systems. Change, and you can say maybe this machine I will create additional domain controller, so I am changing ADC or DC-02. Okay, so this I am going to add. So I will show you. I join this machine into the domain and I bring them this particular machine. Clear? Concept clear? So I am making them DC-02 and give them same domain first. Without I add them into the domain, I cannot promote the additional domain controller into the same hp.com. Same thing. They will ask question. Now this machine part of this hp.com domain. Now this time, whenever this machine is joined, I'll show you. It will ask for the credential. Other user, then you have to put them Mirage. Then only you will be able to log in. Now you understood? Now you understood? Guys, please reply. I will not be able to understand that you guys are clear or not.
Yeah, for me it's clear.
Everyone. Everyone. Gloria.
Yes, yes.
Blesson, Santosh, Chetan, Sunil.
Yes, clear.
Yes.
Okay, perfect. I think one person has left. Don't know what happened. Okay, so fine. Now what I need to do, I'll just gonna create this machine to the additional domain controller. So additional domain controller also they need on Windows server. So this machine I have joined here as a additional domain controller as a Windows server. Now on top of that I will install AD roles and then I will show you the different techniques how will you create additional domain controller. So in domain controller, if you click on domain controller OU, you will see currently seen only one domain controller. After I create domain controller, this machine, let's say the name is DC-02, this machine will be showing here as a additional domain controller. Okay, perfect. So this machine is now part of this my domain, right? The same thing what I need to do, you have to install the roles first. Active Directory domain services. Same time, guys, here I am telling you there is a two option, either you can go for there or you can click on there as per your choice. Now see, now here this time you are going to create additional domain controller. That means existing domain there, existing primary domain controller there, additionally you are doing. So this is the first options. Do not create this option, don't, you have already done it. Now this option, add a domain controller to an existing domain as a domain admin, a domain as an additional domain controller. Okay, now you already find out hp.com as you have already joined them into the domain. Click on next. Same thing, you have to give them user ID, password. Here, first option is any domain controller. You can select it. Next, next, next. Then it will check the prerequisites. It will check prerequisites. As I have run this machine from csprep, so or administrative password by default it's have. So this time it will check it. But if you forget, if you install the first machine from ISO, then you have to provide the local admin. Have to be set administrator password. But yeah, as I have done from the csprep, so no need to give. Click on install. Same thing, it will be rebooted. Okay guys, so now you can see, if you click on refresh, domain controller 2 has comes to the shared basis. Now whatever there in the entire domain load, it will be evaluated between these two particular domain controller. Fine. So what I told, I built same way. My two domain controller, users and one machine into the domain. Right? Now my question is Active Directory database. So you guys,
I have a question.
yes, tell me.
Two domain controller with two different OS versions can be synced together?
Two different OS version. No. See,
Yeah, OS version. Like for example, one domain is 2016 and the domain controller having 2019 server.
no. In that case, you have to do Active Directory migration. I will tell you later on. So whatever I'm telling you, try to understand. This is the advanced things you are telling. Two different domain controller, two different OS versions. It's only applicable whenever you, let's say I'm telling you, showing you the part. Just a minute, opening. Check open the screen.
It's okay, we can do that, it's no problem. It's just a question kept to my mind because we didn't think.
Yeah, as per you're telling that your existing domain controller having OS is 2012 and you are telling that your additional domain controller will be 2016. Okay, so for your information, you are right now Germany, right? So you know right now you have so far, let's say 4 or 5 years ago you have went Germany and now you learn Germany language very fluently and you understand everything. Now new of your friends has recently moved to Germany. Will he communicate? Will he communicate to German language? No.
No.
What they need to do? You have to train them, learn them. You have to upgrade their language skill to Germany. Then only he can speak or write or communicate with Germany language. So same things. Whenever there are two different ways, there is a two different schema, there is a two different securities. Many things are different. So you have to upgrade them, their functionality, the schema, everything. Whenever first things you need to do, you upgrade the schema. Second thing, you have to upgrade the functionality, domain functionality. Next is what? Forest functionality. When everything is done, then these machines, then then these machines can allow 2016 domain controller inside the picture. Then what happened? Your Active Directory is actually migrated from 2012 to 2016. That is I am telling you later on. This is an advanced course. Everything is mentioned here, guys. I do not skip anything. If you have a patience, you have a learn lot of things. If you break the patience, you will lose. Simple. Everything, whatever in Windows, I will tell you. Okay. So now I have a two domain. First one is my primary domain controller, and second one is the secondary domain controller. Now one of my students asked me question that, sir, why now two domain controller in the same forest? They are telling that the database also active. They also have Active Directory database. They also have the Active Directory database. Then why you are telling primary and you are telling secondary or additional? Now who can tell me that answer? I am not expecting that you tell me the correct answer, but you should try. Everyone please tell your name and give the answer. I want to know everyone should tell that answer. If you do not say answer, your knowledge will not be evaluated. Please Miraj, tell me the answer.
Can you please repeat the question?
My question is, okay, so for that I am showing you one thing. That's every domain controller, as I told you that I have created Active Directory. And Active Directory, there is a database also created. Where the database was there? C drive, C Windows, NTDS. That is the folders. Under that ntds.dit. This is my Active Directory database. So this is one of the domain controller. Another domain controller I am showing you. Same path. C Windows, NTDS. If this kind of this may be an interview question, they will ask you where the Active Directory database is there. Then you say C Windows NTDS folder. That NTDS database was there. What is the name of this Active Directory database? ntds.dit. Now my question: every domain controller you see the Active Directory database. So guys, my question, first tell me, you are saying database here, you are saying database here. That means what the model is telling. Which kind of model is telling? It's telling it's distributed database. So one database here, another database here. So anything do here, you can do here, it will be upgrade. Side by side, it will send the duplication, you will also update. Anything done from here, you will upgrade, you will send notification, you will update. So this is work as a distributed model. My question, if the same database, domain controller A and domain controller B also there, then why I am telling this is the primary and this is additional? Why? Who can tell me the answer? Miraj, tell me why. At least do some. Yeah, tell me.
Honestly, I don't know the answer exactly, but I can try.
Yes.
Basically, this is the primary domain controller because we create it first, and then we create an additional domain controller in case of failure. So when we create first, so it becomes primary, I believe, and then we add the second one, and that is called the secondary. That is my, I don't know exactly answer, but that I can try only.
No, it's a baseless answer. I am asking something touch so that my question will be fulfilled. So another guys, Sunil, please try. I just want to know your IQ, because just why this is required, because something you have to tell your own. If I am telling everyone, your knowledge will not be grow.
It will act as a load balancer, the secondary one, the secondary domain controller.
Secondary domain controller work as a load balancer. I am telling you in the beginning of the classes. I am telling you Why should I tell that primary? Why should I tell them secondary? Not just because of I will create that later on, I will create the first one. What makes the difference? What
For
makes the
back,
difference? Huh?
for backup.
Sorry?
Because of I think database. Because of database, I think.
Database also there. He also there database, he also database. Then what is the difference?
If one server, if one domain controller goes down, the other one will be down.
No.
Because when we create the forest on primary database, primary domain controller, so it becomes it got the database that stored the everything about the forest or everything about the infrastructure.
Partially correct. Good. That means whenever you have created first domain controller, not only database, one role, 5 roles, it's called FSMO role. Okay. So these roles are implanted on that particular first domain controller in your machines. Okay. So 5 domain controller, I'll tell you the later on. That is the different things. But keep it in mind, these are primary role. 1, 5 role. What happened actually? Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 role is installed on the primary machines, and that is the heart of the Active Directory. That roles is not installed on secondary machines. That is why it is called primary. If this particular domain controller is crashed, it will be this particular domain also having trouble, and until and unless you cease that role to that particular machines. Clear or not? Clear or not?
Yeah, clear to me.
Just like whenever, let's say there is a company was created, and that company owner declare public share and telling that I do not have much more capital, I cannot continue my business. Now another person have joined their company because he is the 50% share of that particular company. Now both the person having same, I know he's having good enough of amount, he's having good, but still I tell them primary, I'll tell them additional. Why? Because this person having company, everything documents, everything vital information, but he's having not, he's blank. Anything problem, criticality he face, he definitely come to him and say them, give him, help me on this, because he know everything, because he is the primary one. He is the primary one, and all the information is skipped in his inventory. So that 5 roles implanted whenever the primary domain controller build. Is clear or not? I'm showing you what. I'm showing you. This is my secondary domain controller or additional domain controller. There is a command netdom query fsmo. If you put down this command, they will show you that 5 roles which server is currently holding. This is actually the heart of the Active Directory. If these roles are not reachable, or that role contain the server is down, your function will be crashed until and unless you make them cease back to your current domain controller. So which server is saying the roles are there on which server? Which server?
Primary server.
Yes, that is why telling this is P and this is additional. Clear or not? Is that clear or not? Now my part is over. Please ask question. I will give you answer.
Can a company have 2 domain primary controllers? I mean, 2 primary two primary DC.
How come?
And that's my question.
No, it's not possible. Next. Next. Gloria, Sunil, Blesson, Santosh.
So in case of primary DC is crashed, so how can we bring it back, or how can the additional domain controller will take over or will work?
Good question. If the primary DC is down, then what we need to do? There is the option. I'll tell you. This is also advanced. You are telling about. So this is the primary and this is the secondary. The primary, it's actually holding the roles. Secondary not. If the primary is down, we will Caesar roll to hand that particular. Just only Caesar roll that particular domain controller, and this is become a down no matter, but this will work as a primary. Same point of time it will work as a treated as a primary. Clear or not?
Yeah, clear.
Anyone? Anyone? Any questions? Santosh. Okay. What Santosh telling? Santosh telling what all the necessary ports need to be open for communication. Good. Extraordinary question. So what exactly the port? First of all, while you are doing to open that, this is our testing environment. So I default open all this, disable all this port. So general purpose, whenever you are supposed to be implement the same thing on your organization, first of all, you have to open the LDAP port. LDAP is the port through where Active Directory get communications over or get query any application. So first port LDAP will be open. Second, LDAP is the fair enough. If you open that fair LDAP port and DNS port 59, that is the fair enough to work. That is. Next question. Next question. Guys, I'm telling you, if you carefully watch my video or if you carefully watch the session, definitely you have a question in your minds.
Yeah, how can we reset the computer's domain account?
How you can reset the computer domain accounts? Okay, perfect. So in that case, let's say Miraj has forget or Gopal has forget their password. Fine. He called to Miraj. Miraj, can you please reset my account? So here, just Miraj, what he did to do, they will open the dsa.msc and search the Gopal account. Gopal account will come. Here, we will select a domain controller. So you have to select enter directory. Okay. Gopal account come. Select Gopal account. Reset password. Now what happened? Gopal sometime did wrong password and the Gopal account was locked. Then same procedure, but this time it will come here and you will check that option unlock account and account will be unlocked. Clear or not?
Yeah, this is for user account. How to do for domain account? Same thing.
Domain account. This is the domain account.
Okay.
Everything is under the domain. It's a domain account.
Okay. So user account and domain account means same.
Brother, if you are creating user, where you are going to create the user? It's a domain, right?
Yes.
So by default, it's a domain user. If you see that Gopal, if you click on Gopal, then go to the member of. See, by default there is a group was there. What group? Domain user.
Okay.
That means this particular user was created on HP domain. Clear?
Okay.
It's not the local users. It's a domain users.
Okay.
Any next question?
How can we troubleshoot for the domain controller location process?
PC locator process.
Yes, location process.
It's a very advanced things. Next couple of 6 classes, this will be comes to your DC locator process. What I'm telling you guys, whatever I'm giving you that knowledge right now, ask question from there. Because if you are asking too much critical question, other will confuse. Because you know, Miraj know, rest of people may not know. They are synchronizing the basic part. If you are asking the random question, they will confuse. So I am asking whatever in your doubts in whatever I have covered, ask from there. Okay, if you have a good knowledge, fine, no problem. But ask question whatever I have discussed as of now.
Okay, one more. How can we sync time between domain controller and other domain?
Sorry?
How can we synchronize time?
Again, you are doing the same things. We are not understanding what I am saying.
Yeah, understood. Okay, it's okay.
Did I do anything? What I am doing right now, ask question from there. If you do not have asked question, don't ask. But don't create the situation critically. What my point? Everything, whatever you are asking, this is an advanced level of Active Directory. All I will tell you, just keep and watch. What in terms of Active Directory, ADFS, ADCS, everything you will know. I'll make you champ, but you have to wait. You have to wait and watch. But the session I will cover you, ask question from that particular way. Or if you understood well, then fine, no problem.
The difference between domain and domain controller?
Exactly. That's a good question. Domain means, as I told you, that logical boundary of your assets. Through this you can implement the security. So domain is basically the virtual concept. Now, who can hold that virtual domain, or who can hold that virtual concept? The machine, it's called domain controller. The domain controller is basically server or Windows server, which basically hold the capability to hold the Active Directory domain. Clear? Just because of why? Let me draw that picture. This is one of the machines. This is one of the machines. Both are Windows server. This machine, it's not able to holding that ADDS role. Why? Because ADDS role I have not installed, but I have installed ADDS role and configure it, and this machine can hold Active Directory. So this is the basically difference. Domain controller is the device or computer which can hold Active Directory database as well as domain install and configure. That's it. Clear? So Gloria, you have any questions? Gloria, if you have any questions?
Can you explain about the forest once again? Forest.
So as I told, whenever you are creating the first domain, it's a become a forest, right? Now, inside you can create a child domain, or you can create a child domain or create domain tree. But whenever you have created the first domain, it's a forest. So forest is the largest container object which can hold domains, which can hold groups, which can hold computer, domain controller, users, OU. So forest, it's a kind of same thing. Forest is also a logical boundary of your domains. What do you mean by domain? Domain is the logical boundary of your assets, IT assets, and give you the security. Forest is the logical boundary of your domain. Now whenever you have created the first domain, it's by default it's become a forest. Ask question or clear your doubts. Is that clear?
Yes.
Okay guys, so this is my now today what we have discussed. I requested everyone do the practice, make a time, come here, do the practice, because last week Gloria did, Sunil did, rest of people not come. If you do it by your own, that is fine, but if you unless do it, your confidence will not become. Because if you think that after you taking classes, you are watching books, you will not be supposed to clear interview until and unless you have a hands-on knowledge. I'm telling you, boss. This is I'm telling by my 14 years of working experience. Because whenever you will sit for the interview and Active Directory, they will ask question. They will not ask you what do you mean by domain, or where the Active Directory is. They will ask you the case-based study. They will show you that this is an error. How will you mitigate that? Or what the purpose while I'm promoting the domain controller, I'm getting that error. How will you do that? So if you do not do the practical, you will not be able to solve that problems. That is, I'm telling everyone. If you manage your machine from your home, practice it. If you're not able to manage, come here, I will give you the practice session. That is why I included practical here. This is not this YouTube course that you watch the video and learn knowledge. This is hands-on. Again, I'm telling you, this is hands-on, and kind of, what the Active Directory teams in doing the production, same thing we'll do here. Even after the course, we will create day-to-day, what their day-to-day they are doing their jobs. I will send you the ticket dumps. I will show you what next to you, how you will create that part. Everything I'll tell you here. But if you create too much hurry, then I nothing to do. But you have to patience. Everyone, I'm telling you. Yeah, I understood that you are very much interested to learn everything, but I do not have, because every time I am occupied. I cannot provide you everyday classes. So you have to wait. Time I provide 1.5 years. In 1.5 years I will complete the entire course, but you have to wait. And once the course finished, definitely you guys are champ in terms of ADDS, ADFS, ADLDS, Windows servers, Active Directory, Azure AD, anything and so on. What then their needs a modern IT business in terms of everything. Okay? Okay guys, happy weekend to everyone. Stay safe, stay blessed. We'll meet you next week.
Yeah, thank you. But I have a question to you if you have time. Maybe when
you can ask.
Anybody else wants to join?
You can ask now, no problem. If anyone want to listen or learn, can stay there, or else they can go. No problem. You can ask here.
Okay, so can I share my screen to you?
Sure, please.
You need to unshare your screen, only then I will be able to share my screen.
Go on presenting, you will be able to see.
I'm still not able to get the presenting.
Here you have to present, or else I am not able to show you. You can ask me the question. What is your question?
Okay, my first question is that how can I change the VM NIC cards in the VMware? Maybe I know it's irrelevant questions to our course, but it's okay if you will.
How will you change your VM NIC card?
Yeah.
Okay, let me show you. So this is my VM. This is one of my VM, and you are telling you are going to change. So
yeah, from here I know that. From here I wanted to do it in the VMware vSphere.
So VMware vSphere, there is also same things. You have to select the virtual machine, go to the settings. From there you can also change it.
I don't know. Maybe.
Okay, in VMware vCenter there is also. My question: why are you using vCenter vSphere? Just install VMware Workstation 14, and it will be more easier.
Yeah, you are right. But basically, it's already there in my laptop, and I have the license for that. That's why I'm using it. Because basically I'm also working with the vCenter, and unfortunately I don't know what happened. I restart my host, and I also found an error on the vCenter. That is my another question.
Yeah, in vCenter options, there is also options. Select the virtual machines, go to the settings. From there you can change your, the same things.
Are you able to see my screen?
Just a minute. Okay, so just showing you, just a minute.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I restarted my vCenter, and now I'm getting this error. I did troubleshoot, but I did not give a proper time. Perhaps if you know the what exactly I'm missing, so it's okay. Otherwise, I can do it.
So the service unavailable means you might be some vCenter services are not working. You have to restart the services. That's it.
Okay, I did it, but it's not working. Maybe I will look it by myself. It's okay. Other thing is that, for example, if I wanted to change this in the networking here, how can I change these cards there? I did not found the proper.
So here it is actually it's a V switch. You got my point. That is why it's create a complex problem, because this is the purely part of VMware. Whenever I will tell you the VMware, you will able to understood that part. So here you have created distributed switch, and here you are creating a hell lot of problem. So why you are going to go with vCenter? Just create one workstation and there practice do now.
It's okay, no problem. But I already had it, that's why I used it. I thought, okay, because it's license one, so I thought, okay, if I will be create a new one, so perhaps I need
first
to.
You do your practical simple. You have write down that VMware workstation 14 and do your practice. Right now.
Alright.
Okay. So whenever I'll go to the VMware, you will definitely let you know what is the distributed switch, standard switch, everything I'll tell you. Okay.
Right. Okay.
Okay, guys. Goodbye. See you in the next
week.
week.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye bye. Have a nice weekend to all.
Yeah. I am uploading the video to the particular share. You guys can take that from here. Bye.